And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wow Wednesday. I am your host, Nancy Mathews, one of the three founders of Women's Prosperity Network, which we created back in 2008, myself and my two sisters, Trish Carr and Susan Winter. And when I talk about sisters, it's in the familial sense. We grew up in Brooklyn, New York together, same mother, same father, and we have the pleasure and privilege of working together and working with all of you and playing with all of you as each and every one of us seeks to experience our best lives and bring what we have to the world to contribute in making a positive impact. So I thank each and every one of you for being who you are and being a part of our community. And this morning, I have the privilege of introducing you to a woman who has warmed my heart since the day that I met her. Dr. Heather Tucker is with us today, and we're going to be having a conversation around peace under pressure, the key secrets to more business and life harmony with ease. Welcome, Dr. Heather Tucker.
Hello, ladies. It is so wonderful to be here. Thank you so much, Nancy, for having me.
It is an absolute privilege to have you with us, and I know that you're a big fan of Hawaii, so I say aloha, my friend.
Aloha, nice. Aloha. And that's going to be in the talk today. Great.
Oh, perfect. All right, good. I didn't even know that. Awesome. I love how that lines up. So before we dive in, let me share a little bit about Dr. Heather and her background. So Dr. Heather Tucker is the founder and CEO of Another Level Living, which is a professional training and coaching company. She's a master life harmony coach, speaker, and trainer. Her mission is to guide business leaders to achieving their work-life harmony with the purpose, passion, and prosperity they've always wanted. She teaches her students solid methods on how to stress less, strengthen their relationships, and make more money so that they can lead with more momentum in their personal and professional lives. She also certifies life coaches and NLP practitioners. In 2018, she certified, in that year alone, she certified more than 300 life coaches who spread the message of empowerment. Her primary areas of expertise include leadership, relationships, emotional intelligence, post-traumatic stress disorder, technology, harmony, and business building. She's got more than 15 years of a higher education training and research experience, as well as a natural gift of easily working with others. She received her PhD in Information Systems, Human-Computer Interaction, and boy, don't we all need more of that and less stress around that, from the University of Baltimore, a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science from the University of Maryland. Her work has been published in many peer-reviewed journals, conference proceedings, and books, and you can find out more about Heather at her website and learn about all her training programs, including her certification to become a life coach, and I love the perspective you take on that. So welcome, Heather.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to be here, and I'll tell you, the timing for this topic and for this conversation, ladies, is perfect because, you know, with everything that's going on, out of the ashes, we're going to rise and become so much stronger and be there to be of service for the people that need us. And so now it's time. It's time to rise up, and I'm so glad that I'm rising up in this occasion to share this message with you today.
Yeah,
so we ready
are
to get started?
Yeah, let's get started. Peace under pressure, key secrets. Let's go, baby. We're all ready.
Okay. So first, let me preface this with saying that it's almost like I've become the queen of pressure. And what does that mean? It means, I mean, my whole life it's been a constant battle of achieving and going forward and pushing through. I got my PhD when I was 27, and I just to give you a quick story about me before we get into the powerful parts of this. But at 27, there was so much pressure. And then right after that, I landed my dream job, and I was making 6 figures, permanent government position. And then about 6 years ago now, I left. I said, you know what? It is time. I called a halt on my life because there was so much pressure. Nancy, have you ever been so, like, overwhelmed from, like, all sides of areas of life, and it's like people are pulling on you from different levels? And you're like, what is happening?
Yeah. Absolutely. And just the way you describe that is something many of us feel often. And when you get stuck in that, it feels like, oh, my gosh, there's no hope. What am I going to do? Everybody wants me. Calgon, take me away.
Exactly. And, you know, it's almost like everything goes on red alert and you become frozen. You don't know which direction to go. Yeah. Everything is so overwhelming. If there's one more thing that comes my way, I'm just going to have the popping moment where I just shut down and be like, I don't know what's going on. Right? So this happened. Like, as a matter of fact, there was an incident where I was like, you know what, it is time to move on and transition. And I went to higher education full time, became an assistant professor for a university. And during that time, I also found the love of my life. My husband is an amazing man. He's a Purple Heart Marine Corps veteran. He did 2 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan and came back with PTSD. So it was leaving the pressure of the Corps or of the government, then falling in love with this amazing man, and then also starting this business. I'm like, wow, this is perfect. This is it. I had landed everything. And now here's what happened, Nancy. As soon as I called myself a life harmony coach, it's almost as if every single thing in the world went awry. It was like, whereas we could be going really good on business, then life got in the way. So it's like we were dealing with these tornadoes from every which way. For example, you mentioned how I certified 300 coaches in 2018. Well, in 2018, I was also pregnant with my daughter unexpectedly, and I had written 2 books. And whereas the business was going good, the house was not going so well. It was like extra pressure. And I was just like, I don't understand what's going on. So here's the thing.
It feels like the universe said, oh, you're calling yourself a life harmony coach? Let me give you some things to really become an expert in this.
Yes, exactly. Well, you call yourself a life harmony coach. We're going to see how you handle all this. And so it was like all of these things coming. And then I became like the airbender. So whereas things used to come, we're going to talk about emotions and how emotions come like a wave sometimes. And so just to preface, in being married to a combat veteran, there's about an 80%, actually like a 10% success rate. So my PTSD, in addition to his PTSD, is like a 5% success rate. And it's not that we're battling like just the typical relationship stuff. We have about 22 veterans per day killing themselves, ladies. So it's almost like you're not just dealing with just like, depression. You're dealing with the struggles of life and death. And what do you do in this? So, okay, it's about peace under pressure. How is a diamond created, right? A diamond is created under pressure. We can be pressed but not crushed, right? And what we go through, we grow through. So it's almost like now that I'm on the other side of that, I feel like I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and there was a lot of great fear. Now, here's the thing. Whenever there's situations and turmoil that come our way, the fear comes up, right? Great fear. Now, fear means 2 things, and I mentioned this in the talk. Either we can forget everything and run, which I was a runner. I'm like, it's too hard. I don't understand. I got to go. Or we can face everything and rise, and we can lean into what's going on so we can be able to let go of what we need to so we can move forward. Now, here's the thing. As we're doing that facing everything and rise, then you get to the point where you feel everything and relax. So that means that it's
like that.
Yes. And what it is it's ultimate peace in the midst of the chaos, because you know what? You are the peace. You are the change. And it's almost like we seek to change the external world, but when we change ourselves, it's amazing how the world around us changes. Does this make sense so far, Nancy?
Makes total sense. It makes total sense. And I love that you said, so let's dive into this for a moment, because when pressure comes and stress happens, challenges occur, fear shows up, the tendency, at least the way we've been trained up until now, most of us, is, oh, that's too hard, that's, it's too much, I'm going to opt out, get under the covers. You feel emotions coming up and you're like, ooh, this doesn't feel good. What can I do to go self-medicate? Whether it's binging on television, or eating or drinking, whatever that is. And only by feeling everything can we move through it and relax, is what I heard you say. So as long as we don't face it, it's still there. It's when we focus on it and allow it to have its expression that it can then dissipate.
Exactly. And here's the thing. When there's no fear within, when there's no enemy within, the enemy without cannot touch you. What does that mean? Our relationships are really just a reflection of what's going on inside of us. So let me get into these points. I have an acronym for the word peace.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So the first one is, and I was debating between two things, but what's coming to me now is this one: patient perseverance on the path. Patient perseverance on the path. What does that mean? One of the books that I had wrote on in 2018 was called The Voice of Hope. It was inspirational, untold stories by caregivers for caregivers. And in that book, even the process of even wanting to write this book, it was like I was scared to even think about all the things that had happened. So one of the biggest things that had happened was, what do you do when you're on this path and things are good? And then my husband, he almost died a couple of times. He had a widowmaker heart attack. And what we're talking about, ladies, is life or death. And it brought me to the awareness of we have to be able to be present, and we also have to be able to have patience, not just with ourselves, other people, but especially with ourselves. One of the things I usually hear some of my clients and students talk about is, I should have been here by now. I should have had this already done. This business should have been already up and running. This life should have been already good. But what if you're exactly where you're supposed to be? Like, yes, I could have been a millionaire by now with all of the amazing things that I know. However, there's a better way, or it's even more powerful now than it would have been then. So every single thing that we experience on the journey is working for us and not against us. Because when we become that resilient, powerful butterfly and we see the things happening in the world around us, just like now, it's like we're not even affected by it. It's like the emotions, they come, and then where is it used to? And what am I talking about, the emotions? There may be a trigger. My husband may have had a flashback. There could have been something going on. And where everything could be okay, then all of a sudden it's not okay. And I'm like, wait, what happened? What happened? And whereas energetically it used to take me down for a couple of days, now I see the wave coming and I just look at it as it passes by. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And it's almost like imagine a hurricane, right? The most calming place in the hurricane is the eye of the hurricane, right? So the eye of the hurricane, when you claim power of that, the goal is not to be caught up in all of the winds of the hurricane itself, but to become the eye and the emotional GPS and driver of the hurricane, because then it slowly calms down, and then all of a sudden it just becomes one with everything. So patient perseverance on the path. You're in the right place, ladies. It's at the right exact time. No shoulda, woulda, coulda. Everything is happening in your life for you and not to you.
And in the perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes.
Yes.
And if we can, right, so, and that comes back to facing it or running from things. If we can have patient perseverance on the path and say the timing is perfect, it allows us to look at where we are now, right now, instead of having resistance. I wish I wasn't, just like you were talking about. So that's really good. All right, the letter E.
Okay, E. Okay, E stands for energy and emotions are one. Now, ladies, if you really want to know about this emotional intelligence, make sure you get on the mastermind with us on Saturday. Because here's the thing. There's two things that impact us the most, our energy and our environment. And our emotions are like energy in motion. And what we talk about is that they're contagious. So whereas if one person is stressed out or angry, then it can become like a ripple out effect into the whole environment. So knowing that we can't necessarily separate our emotions and our energy. But what does this mean? This means to be able to, we cannot control how people react or how people are or how the situation is or unfortunate circumstances like the situations that happen now. Yet we can control how we respond. So focus on the things that you can control, and then you let God deal with the things that you can't control. And it's almost like watch how the magic happens when we take that pressure off of ourselves and recognize, you know what? Let's create an energy that's working for us. Let's create an energy that's supporting our environment. Let's become the energy, and let's become that amazing emotion, even when it doesn't seem like it's possible around us.
So do you have a tip? So imagine, you just got news about someone being sick. You are feeling trapped inside your house and wish you could see your family again. Like in the midst of that emotion, do you have a tip or suggestion to support us in transmuting it into something else?
Yes. So the thing is about, first of all, leaning into that emotion. We don't want to run away from it. A lot of times it's easy to there's pain. Let's run away from it. Let's do something that distracts us from it, or let's try to numb it down. But you want to first lean into that pain and talk, and even have a conversation with God and have a conversation with yourself. Like, how am I feeling about this? Okay, I'm allowed to be able to feel this way. You give yourself permission to feel the feelings that you have. Like, the biggest thing is it is okay not to be okay. All right? We just don't want to stay there. But it's okay not to be okay. We're going to have good days and we're going to have bad days. So the first part is awareness of it. Then the second part is to be able to, a tip in terms of expressing, thinking about that relationship. So one of the biggest things that's happening right now is there's a huge fear of death. There's a huge fear of what if something happens to a loved one? What if something happens to my health? And this is one of the reasons why being present living is so very important, and also making sure that our relationships are okay. So therefore, if something happens, we know that we've had a good relationship. Like, people will hold on to grudges for so long over something so stupid, and the whole family, loses out on that relationship and that connection. And then when that person dies, then it's too late. So let's not wait until it's too late, but let's focus on those relationships now. Also, some of the things you can do is meditation, or prayer, or or thinking about that person. This is another one, good one too. Like when someone dies or there's a loss of a loved one, have that conversation in your mind. Think about the positive times that you had. Don't get caught up on the loss, because our losses, I talked about this before, how our losses are heaven's gain. And where we may think that we lost something, and that's a burden, what is the blessing behind it? What are you grateful for? How grateful are we for having this person even in our life to have that experience? What is the hope that we'll be able to see them again? And, of course, that goes to different beliefs on people's different perceptions of what that is. But that's where my foundation. It's about having a solid foundation and standing on a firm rock to know that regardless of what is going on, it's a beautiful thing, because there is hope. There is hope. There is faith. There is love. And all of these things will rise above whatever fear that we're having.
Beautiful.
And so,
beautiful. All right.
Okay, you ready for
letter? Yep. So we're experiencing peace, and the letter P is, peace under pressure. So when things are going on, when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed and sad and anxious, the letter P stands for having patient perseverance on the path, knowing you're agreeing and accepting you are where you're supposed to be, allows you to look for what is the opportunity in that moment and in that situation. The letter E is that your energy and your emotions are one. So if your emotions, you're feeling sad, depressed, upset, allow yourself to feel those, and then also by processing that emotion, it can let you focus on the positive side of the circumstance or the happier side. And the letter A is what we're up to.
Yeah, perfect. And then I just want to let you know that that Ho'oponopono process is also really good. So, the prayer, we're certified in the process. But what we do grief support, and we run people through that process. So therefore, there's a total healing and a closure there, in a beautiful way.
So I don't think we've really talked about Ho'oponopono yet.
Oh, okay.
So we might need to come back to that, because we've only got 5 minutes
another day
before we open up. And so if you're curious about Ho'oponopono when we open up for questions, get in the queue on that.
Okay, perfect.
You and I take it for granted, right?
We do. Okay, let's get on.
All right.
We can talk
letter
all day,
A.
but we're not going to. Letter A.
Yeah.
Letter A is awareness of avoidance. Okay, ladies, what are we avoiding? What are we tolerating? Ask yourself, what are we tolerating? What are we not trying to pay attention to that we need to pay attention to? So one of the biggest messages, I'm a recovering workaholic, and it's so easy for me to just go. And the message was, never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. And, a lot of people are wondering what's going on in this time. But it's almost like everything shut down. Be still. Know that I'm God. Now know that I'm God. Pay attention to everything that's happening around you. Basically, one of the things that causes someone to overwhelm right now is because people now have to face the things that they've been ignoring or that they've been avoiding. And so it's like I had heard from a speaker, or from Lecrae. He's a Christian rapper, and he talks about being a vessel, these 3 vessels. Either we can be the sailboat or the speedboat, where we just go and forge ahead full speed that will burn out and run out, or we can be a draft drifting in the wind. Oh, woe is me, what happens? And we get lost out to sea. Or we can be like the sailboat, where we just put in a little bit of work and it's smooth sailing. I like being the sailboat. And I did both of the other ones. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes, awareness of avoidance. Like I said, when you face it, when you overcome it, then that's when you're reclaiming your power. All right. So we'll go now to C. The C is courage for yourself and others. What does this mean? This means letting your love rise above every fear. every single fear. You got a fear of public speaking. Let your love for the people that you need to talk to and that need your message rise above the fear. You got to feel the fear and do it anyway, because the world needs you. And it's your courage to step up. Do not be afraid. Be of good courage, because God is with you if you allow him to be. And then it's amazing how just the opportunities and the doors open up. Okay, so courage, allow that lion to come out. Everyone has a lion inside of them. Allow your lion to come out. Okay.
I love what you said. Let your love rise above the fear. Let your fear of public speaking, what a great example that was. Let your love for the people you want to serve rise above your fear of not looking good or not getting it right. If we can remember in times of fear to let our love lead the way, that's everything. Like that, I got goosebumps everywhere. I really like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Because I was a little scaredy cat. I'm not going to lie. I was a little scaredy cat, a little cat lion, and now I'm like this mama lion that's ready to roar because of this. Because people need me. I can't wait. I'm not going to sit on this. Sitting on what I have is too selfish. Don't sit on what God given you, especially for those that need it. And then the last one is for E, expand your supportive environment. Okay, what do I mean by this? Every time there was a block, every time where, what do you do when you give it all that you can, you're doing the best that you can, what more do people want from you, and you're depleted, and you don't know which way to go. So it was almost like at every step, we want to give up. Oh, I just want to throw in the towel. Like, this world is just so easy to give up. But what are we committed to? Then if you don't know the answer, don't go to battle alone. Have support. Perfect example. When I came off the road when I was 8 months pregnant with my daughter. And one of the things that I Googled before I went into the hospital was, should I leave my husband with PTSD? Because I had gotten so many triggers at that time. And then I found this amazing resource of this organization called Mighty Oaks, that their mission is to be able to restore veterans and their families within the hopes of Jesus. And I was like, wow, what is this? I saw the article from this lady, and she was talking about how her and her husband had separated, but God was kind of working on her and saying, these are what the things that you needed to do. They got back together. They created this amazing organization, and they have literally saved the lives and families of so many. It's not even funny. So I found this article right in the nick of time. It was the perfect resource. My husband went to the men's retreat. I went to the women's retreat. Life-changing. So if we allow ourselves, there's always going to be an opportunity to get to that next step. How aware are we of what that is? So this is the part about realizing that, you know what? It takes a village. It takes a village. This organization, Women's Prosperity Network, is a village of love and support. And there's so many other villages out there, too, that just connect. Because you know what? It is about unity. It's about we all are one. And everybody holds a piece to the masterpiece. If I knew it all, I would be like, oh, my gosh, this is cool. But I don't know it all. I like to operate in the place of, yes, I may be a quote-unquote genius to society, but I really don't know it all. And then I allow myself to learn and step into, what is that next step for me? So where do you get support? You want to be able to feel secure, supported, validated, confidence both inside and out. And it all starts with you seeking that support wherever you can. Everybody's piece is just powerful. And all you have to do is collect the pieces that makes your support system.
Wow. So many good golden nuggets in here. We can be present, we can be pressed, but not crushed. I loved that one. Feel everything and relax. Let your love rise above the fear. And then this last one you said, my friend, that everyone holds a piece to the masterpiece. Like, that was, I'm going to be tweeting you all day if I tweeted.
Tweet me all day. I love it. I love it. Hallelujah. Thank you.
So, all right. So we're at the halfway mark, and we always like to give our audience an opportunity to share ahas, insights, and ask questions. So let me start the queue. Give me a moment. Fantastic. So go ahead and hit *6 on your phone. And then it'll prompt you to hit the number 1 to get in the queue. So hit *6 and then the number 1, and we'll take your calls and your questions and comments. Couple quick things before we do that, my friend. So number 1, I'm curious, and I don't think I know the answer to this question. So you talked about when you were getting ready to go away, you're 8 months pregnant, should I leave my husband, and you found that organization. How did you come into our world of Women's Prosperity Network? And, so somehow we got connected. You found us. Then you moved to Virginia, became a chapter leader. And so how did our universes collide?
I love it. Because I tapped into a connector. So there's never any coincidence of the people that we meet. And for those of you who don't necessarily know about the One Philosophy or haven't heard it yet, definitely learn about it, because the people that we meet can be the ones for us for a lifetime. Actually, I had just, I was on a Facebook post. Through social media, there was a post that said, name your business and what you do. And I was like, okay, cool. So that's what I did. Hi, I'm Dr. Heather. I'm a life coach, and here's my website. And then Valerie Zollinger, is that her? Yes.
Yep, that's her name.
Yes.
That's her name.
So she responds, oh my gosh, I'm in Orlando too. And I'm like, what? So we connected right then. We met for coffee, and she was telling me about this organization. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then within a couple of weeks after that, or a couple of months after that, I'm seeing Valerie on Facebook on stages, doing this, doing that. I'm like, wow, she is rocking it. What was this organization that she told me about again? And then, Lord and behold, there was you had a Level Up in Orlando, and it was like the perfect time.
I remember.
And now here's the thing. When I signed up for it, I'm like, you know what? I want some of what Valerie's got. So let me go ahead on there. She wasn't able to make it to that event, but when I walked in, you ever walk into a place and you feel like you're home? Like
we do hear that a lot.
Yes,
and it makes me so happy, because for me it's like, if you're coming to my house, I want you to feel welcomed and at home. So our events exude that energy and emotion. Like we're so happy, and we want you to feel that way. So awesome. So continue.
So here's the thing, and it's funny, because the reflection that I had, or the thought of that feeling, was just the same feeling that I had when I walked into my church for the first time. I'm like, this is nice. You know, so it feels right. So now, and I'll tell you, this is the story that I tell. I signed up to be a lifetime member that first day. It was a 2-day event. I signed up to be a lifetime the first day. Had no clue how I was going to pay for it or what it was going to look like, but I just knew I was supposed to do it. And I'm telling you, it was the best decision that I made at that time, because you know what? The support that we have here is a beautiful thing. And I knew that I needed to bring that message to my people who are here, because we don't have that support system like that, especially for heart-centered women. So that's why I started this chapter.
Awesome.
Beautiful thing.
Well, thank you. I didn't know the story. So the power of social media, showing up and saying, I want some of that. So if you want some of that and you're not getting it from us yet, join in.
It was all Valerie, yeah.
Tell me, actually, let our listeners know, I know you put a special resource together for them to take home from today. And I also, I've been talking with a lot of people recently who are like exploring, what's my life purpose? What do I really want to do? How do I want to contribute? And I know you've got the life coach certification. So tell people how they can get in touch with you if they're curious about pursuing that, and then go ahead and give your gift, and we'll open up for questions.
Okay, perfect. All right, so first thing, ladies, life coaching, the power of life coaching. For those of you, have you ever thought about becoming a life coach? And now it's not just a thing for even new business owners, but also is a power for even existing business owners, because we're allowed to be able to be of service deeper. Coaching is good for self, it's good for others, and it's good for the world. So having that skill is about even strengthening that communication. Because when we get to the deeper problems of what's going on with that person, then we can really be able to, after they overcome that, then they could take on every single thing that we have to offer them with ease, because there's not that pressure there. And I have a class coming up in just 2 weeks. This is going to be the last class where people get the most of my time, 6 weeks. We do it in bite-sized pieces a couple of times a week. And it's actually, you get 2 certifications, one as a certified life harmony coach and one as a holistic emotional intelligence expert. The power of that is just beyond this world. So if you want to find out more information about that, just email me. My email address is heather@anotherlevelliving.com, all spelled out. heather@anotherlevelliving.com. And so yes, as a matter of fact, we only have a couple spaces available.
Right, and you only do have a couple of spaces left, right?
Yep, and then we're going to be sold out, baby. I can't wait to post it.
Yeah. All right,
okay,
so
here's the free gift.
If you're interested, let's do the free gift, and then I'll repeat the link.
Okay, cool. So here's the thing. I created my Bitly link. I don't know if it works. So what I would rather direct you to is to my free Facebook group that I have called Business Life Harmony Made Easy. So if you go to Facebook and you just type in BIZ and then life, LIFE, harmony, HARMONY, Biz Life Harmony, then that group should come up and you just request to join it, and I'll put the free gift also in there. What is this free gift? This free gift is 3 secrets on how to reclaim your power. It's a very, very beautiful audio. And it talks about that, how we don't have to have a great past to have a great future, and we have the ability to rewrite our story. So Biz Life Harmony, and then search that, and then request to join the group, and then I will post it in there, and I'll also post it in the Women's Prosperity Network. Oh, great, they're coming in right now. Perfect. Okay, so I'll and then I'll also post it in the Women's Prosperity Network. But yeah, that'll be perfect to put it in there.
All right, perfect. So if you're interested in the life coaching, or you have other questions for Dr. Heather, you can email heather@anotherlevelliving.com. And for her free gift, go to Facebook and put in the search bar BIZ, Life Harmony, and then it'll come up for you. All right, are you ready for questions?
I am totally ready for questions. Bring them on, ladies. I'm here to support y'all.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, first up is Linda. Good morning. Your line is open.
Good morning. Good morning. I just have a comment. She made the comment that she made was, it's okay to feel and give yourself permission to feel, and it's okay to not be okay, and just don't stay in that way. Because sometimes we want to complain and this and that. It's okay to express what we're feeling, but we can't let that just be the end all to everything.
Right,
so I like
the story.
Yes. So I like that. You have the permission to feel, but don't drag it out.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that, and it's so true. We think that it's like never too late to recreate our own story, and we also want to allow ourselves to be able to have those bad days. It's okay to have bad days. I have them all the time, but not as much as I used to. Now it's like a bad, maybe like a bad couple hours, because I'm so good to bounce it back up. And we can do that. We can do that. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you,
join
Linda.
the group so we can have more.
Okay, I will.
Okay. All right, love it. All right, fantastic. Have a beautiful day.
You
All right, next. Thank you. Oops, sorry about that. Next up is going to be our friend Leslie Warren. Yay!
Hey there, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Oh, my gosh. Heather, Nancy, number one, thank you for having her as a guest right now, because things are interesting. Life is interesting, and there were so many golden nuggets. I can't wait to listen to the replay again. I have to say, Heather, thank you. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for becoming a lioness. Thank you for reminding all of us that we are also lionesses. I loved the thing that you said about fear and love. That just so much. Was so brilliant, and I know that for me, that's something that I'm dealing with right now, and I'm sure there are other people who are dealing with that. And this whole conversation has just been filled with so many gems, and I also think about it, so many steel rods, because everything you say is like a rod that you can put in your back so you can stand up taller and straighter and stronger. And talk about reinforcement. I just thank you so much for the gift of this conversation that you're having with Nancy and sharing with all of us, because it's so powerful. It's just, it's beautiful. I knew you were the mom.com girl, but man, you just hit a grand slam. I'm just saying.
Hallelujah. To God be the glory. It is my pleasure and honor. So thank you so much. Totally my pleasure. I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Love you, girl.
Thanks.
Love you so much.
Love you too.
Love you.
So much.
So good. All right, fantastic. Yeah, there you go. All right, and again, to get in touch with Heather, you can email her, heather@anotherlevelliving.com, and also join the Facebook group, Biz Life Harmony. Put that in the search bar and the group will come up. All right, next caller is Rose. Good morning, Rose.
Good morning. Good morning. I cannot tell you. It's totally amazing how things work together when you're at the right place at the right time, isn't it? I have been struggling with acting as a remote caregiver to my elderly father, who is going on 95 in September, and very active person, I might say. And then I have my son, who has challenges and needs caregiving. It hasn't worked from remote. My heart has been telling me, they need to be with you. They need to be with you. You need to be in the trenches. I've been fighting it for 2 years. Nancy knows so well that I have been struggling with, what should I do? Where can I go? And I felt this resistance so much, like, no, you're not supposed to step out into that right now. You're supposed to stay where where you are. And so just last night, I'm shaking with just tears of just joy. Just last night, I didn't even know what you were going to talk on today, but last night I came to a calming peace. Yes, this is what you're supposed to do. And I knew that I'm supposed to get a house, and I don't know where it's going to be, but I'm in the Orlando, Lakeland area, and I desperately want to get with you because I have so many ideas, and I know it's supposed to be a 4-bedroom house for my son, my father, and me, and then a caretaker also when I'm not there, because someone has to be there all the time. So this just came, your whole talk came as a, yes, this is where you get, it's not too late to recreate life story. It is in the process of being created in a whole different realm that I would have never have even had remotely thought of. Even with Nancy's help, I never thought that that's what I should be doing. So, and it's not like you have to put everything else to the side. You just have to be where you're supposed to be. Then everything else will fall into place, like all the pieces of the right puzzle. You don't have 5 different puzzles trying to put them all together. You have one puzzle with all the pieces that fit perfectly in unison. So thank you so much. And I have also wanted to start a support group. And I already had I said, God, I don't know where I'm supposed to go or who I'm supposed to contact for this. And this was just last night, too. And the letters are CGSG, which is called Caregiver Support Group in Central Florida. So there you are.
Look at that. All the time. That is good all the time. Hallelujah. And thank you so much. Because you know what? That's a beautiful thing. As you were talking and as I was listening to your story, I was reflecting back to the conversations that I had with the caregivers in my book. It was 4 of them caring for their spouses like me, 4 of them caring for their children with special needs, and 4 of them caring for their elderly parents. And one of the biggest things that we talk about, or that we talk about, is not seeing it as a burden. It may be a burden, but there's such a big blessing in it. And for you to be able to bring them together, to be able to have that presence, the time that y'all have left on this earth together is going to be so much more beautiful and powerful, and your relationships are going to be even deeper. And it's a beautiful
and I
thing.
Can't tell you, yes, that is so true. And I can't tell you the fear of what are you doing? How could you think you could handle 2 of them at the same time? Because they're both so different. And then the family not being supportive because they think, no, your life is going to change. You will never have your own life again. And knowing, but this is where that intuition that Nancy knows that I'm really focusing on tapping into says, no, this is it. It's not supposed to be external. I'm supposed to be in the trenches with them and the peace. I mean, that's just what it's all about. So thank you so much, both of you, for
so welcome.
giving us an inspiration of just that we're all where we're supposed to be. So